On to then the under-21s,
Yeah.
Mark, because it's been a bit of a weekend for it. Adam Lawrence has only been in the job a few months, and he's announced his departure. Speaking on LinkedIn, he said, after being at the club for a short period of time, this was a really difficult decision to make. However, there are times in life where you have to make tough choices, and this is one of those moments. I would like to thank Steve Harper for the opportunity to work at such an amazing club and wish the academy and club every success in the future. Newcastle is truly a special place. I look forward to exploring potential opportunities that are out there for me. So I guess the first thing to say is that it was his decision to go, and you spoke to him on Friday, and by all accounts, it was an unexpected decision to go.
Yeah, so we're beaten late on against Middlesbrough on Friday night. Myself, Matt Raisbeck and Chris Woff spoke to Adam after the game. I didn't get any indication that this was coming. There was no talk about concerning his position or anything like that, or even his manner. There was nothing to suggest he's. You can generally tell from a manager if that trying to make a decision like that. But I didn't see that from Adam. He spoke about players, which we'll come on to, about what their next steps could be. He spoke about, yes, the disappointment of the performance, but I didn't get any indication. So yesterday, when that press release came through, I think I was probably as surprised as anyone. What I will say is, I've had a lot of dealings with Adam over the last sort of 6 months, and a real gentleman, really good to deal with as a coach. Spoke openly, spoke honestly, and that's kind of all you can ask for to an extent. Results haven't been good enough. I think even he would admit that. I think everyone at the academy would. You can't throw in sort of mitigating circumstances of players have been out on loan. There's been a lot of changes. Players have been involved in first team. So I think your Shahars, your Neves, Murphys would have probably played on Friday night, all being well. So, but it's a thankless task, I think, the 21s manager, because you've got to strike the right balance between results, performances, and development. It's not an easy job at all. So there's a big decision to be made at Newcastle. I don't know who will take it. Obviously, Robbie Stockdale is in interim charge at the moment. So they've got Tuesday afternoon, they play Benfica in the Premier League International Cup, and then Friday afternoon go to Sunderland. So it's going to be a tricky week. Benfica have got an unbelievable side at that level. So it's going to be a real tough test.
Indeed. And this is now the 7th?
Yeah, I think if you include interims as well.
Well, yeah, a shock to many, as you said, even though the results weren't great, there was clear signs of progress being made under Adam Lawrence. It's going to be interesting to see who they do indeed replace him with. And then we've also seen players either confirm moves away or certainly on the cliff of it anyway. Let's talk about Ben Parkinson, because a lot was thought of him, and he's gone up to Scotland in the last week.
Yeah, I did a piece with Ben about 6 weeks ago, and he spoke about the sort of mental challenges he'd had from obviously being in and around the squad during the previous Champions League campaign. Was on the bench a couple of times, I think in Dortmund and Paris against PSG. Made his first team debut as a substitute against Bournemouth during the same season. And then we kind of expected him to kick on and be kind of where Sean Neves at right now and be in and around constantly. But because of injuries, just hasn't quite happened. So I spoke to him about 6 weeks ago, and he sort of indicated then that his mind was on what's next, rather than kind of force my way back into the 21s. Newcastle agreed an undisclosed fee with Falkirk last week, so they have got some money for him. I can't confirm this is me speculating, but I assume there'll be a sell-on in there. So hopefully Ben, with a fresh start, certainly has the ability and attitude, can go to Scotland. A great opportunity from up there to develop and to get men's football under his belt, and excited to see where it takes him.
And the other big one is Kyle Hafnin, captain of the under-21s, signed from AC Milan. By all accounts, again, big things expected from him, but wasn't in the squad on Friday in that defeat to Middlesbrough, and he also now seems like he's set for a move away.
Yeah, so when I turned up on Friday night at a freezing cold Whitley Park, expected Cathal to be in the squad. When I saw he wasn't, my immediate thought was, given the lack of defensive options in the first team, maybe he was going to be named on the first team bench for the Bournemouth Cup tie. When I was stood with Chris and Razor speaking to Adam after the game, I purposely made a point of asking Adam Lawrence about Cathal Heffernan, and said, should we expect him to be in the first team squad? And he said, no, he said to me that he's been kept out of the squad for the Middlesbrough game because there is a possible move away from Newcastle on the cards over the coming days. Now, I asked if it was a permanent or a loan, and he said TBC, so we don't know what. There's no indication of where he's going. The only thing I can say is I was told a couple of months ago, and reported this for the Chronicle, that clubs in Scotland were interested in him. I think there's clubs in Scotland interested in Charlie MacArthur as well. So there is possibly something on the table there for Cathal over the coming days.
Just talk to us briefly about him, because, as we said, captain of the under-21s, and people did have big hopes for him. Is it a case that, maybe if a team who can offer first-team football comes knocking, it's the right move for him? Because some people have speculated on Twitter, and it's more of a generalisation that this is kind of a Ross Wilson cull of the under-21s, and I think that's a little bit harsh. It is just a case of, the right doors opening at the right time.
It's strange how we think of under-21s differently to first team, because we've said it about Joe Willock. He's ready to go elsewhere. Now, that's not saying Joe Willock's not good enough to play in the Premier League. That's just saying he's ready to go elsewhere because he needs a fresh start. I get the feeling with Cathal that it's been a difficult season at 21s level, but his attitude and his ability has shown up really well. And I feel as if with him now, he's ready to play first team football somewhere, which is why I wonder, and again, this is speculation, I think it may be a permanent. I think he's ready to take that step into men's football permanently. I know there are clubs that have looked at him in the EFL. Adam Lawrence, about 6 weeks ago, said to me that he felt he was ready for first team football at a sort of EFL level or in Scotland. I just think it's right time, right move. Well, certainly right time. Time will tell if it's right move, but I think he is ready for that. Apologies if you're going to bring him up anyway, but Joe White's another one. So there was a piece I did for the Chronicle yesterday on Joe White. So I asked Adam on Friday about Joe White, who's back from his latest loan move away at Leyton Orient. Joe's 22, 23 now, and he's had a number of loan spells. Now, Adam indicated he expects there'll be another move between now and the end of the window. Now, I think at the edge that Joe's at, with his ability, unquestionable ability, it's time for a permanent move to go on and kick. He's not, with all due respect to him, and I think he's a really talented player, I don't think he's going to break into that first team midfield with the amount of options that are there. So now he has to say, right, what can I do? Where do I go? There'll be clubs that, well, there are clubs interested in him, EFL clubs. I think now is the time to have that clean break. A little bit like Dan Barlasser did a few years back. Go make a career for yourself in the EFL and see where it takes you. Now, Dan obviously left to go to Rotherham, I think it was, then went to Middlesbrough, did well at Borough. Now he's playing in the SPL on a regular basis with Hibs. So I think Joe White is possibly in a similar situation.
Well, lots to keep an eye on when it comes to Newcastle United's under 21s. Thanks to Mark for providing insight